Tonight you will cook something. Maybe you already did. Maybe you threw a pan on the stove, turned a dial, and thought nothing of it. You did it the way you brush your teeth or tie your shoes. Automatic, thoughtless, human, but here's what is strange. Of the millions of species alive on this planet right now, only one of them cooks its food. Only one species in the history of life on Earth decided to take perfectly edible things and set them on fire before eating them. And that species is you. Not chimpanzees, not crows, not dolphins, not any of the other animals with the intelligence to figure it out. Only you, only humans, and the real reason why will completely change how you think about the body you are walking around in right now. Because cooking did not start as something humans chose to do, it started as something that changed what humans are. Let's go back, way back. Around 2 million years ago, your ancestors looked very different from you. They were smaller. They had massive jaws. Their teeth were enormous, built for grinding tough raw roots and raw meat for hours every single day. Their guts were large and wrapped around enormous digestive machinery designed to extract calories from food that had never been processed by anything except biology. They were strong, they were capable, but they were not yet quite human, and then something shifted. Around that time in the fossil record, something strange happens. Jaws start shrinking, teeth get smaller, gut size drops, and brains start growing. Scientists have been arguing about why for over a century. The standard answer used to be simple: meat. Early humans started eating more protein, which fueled bigger brains, which made them smarter, which made them more successful. Clean story, satisfying, and probably only part of the picture. Here is the part that changes everything. Richard Wrangham is a primatologist at Harvard University. He has spent decades studying what chimpanzees eat, how they eat it, and what that tells us about our own origins. And in 1999 he proposed something that seemed almost too simple to be revolutionary. He argued that the real driver of human evolution was not meat alone, it was fire. Specifically, it was what fire does to food, it was cooking. Wrangham's argument goes like this. Raw food is hard to digest. Your body spends enormous energy breaking it down, you have to chew for hours, your gut has to work overtime. A significant portion of the calories in raw food never actually get absorbed. You eat it but you do not fully get it. Cooked food is different. Heat breaks down the cellular walls of plants. It denatures proteins in meat, making them easier for your stomach acids to access. It gelatinizes starches, turning them into fast, efficient fuel. When you cook food, you essentially pre-digest it. You outsource part of the digestive process to fire, and that means your body can extract far more energy from the same amount of food in far less time with far less effort. That freed up something extraordinary: time. A chimpanzee spends roughly 6 hours a day chewing. 6 hours, just chewing, every day, because raw food demands that of them. Your jaw and gut are so much smaller than a chimpanzee's that you physically could not survive on a raw diet long term. Studies of people who choose to eat only raw food today show that around half of raw food diet women stop menstruating entirely. Their bodies do not have enough usable energy to maintain basic reproductive function. You are not built to eat like a chimpanzee anymore. You have been redesigned, and the redesign began with fire. Once your ancestors started cooking, the energy surplus was dramatic. The same yam that used to require 2 hours of chewing could be roasted and eaten in 20 minutes. Same tough fibrous roots that demanded massive molars to process could be softened to mush over a flame. Suddenly the enormous jaws were unnecessary. The massive guts were unnecessary. And the energy that had been diverted to running those systems could go somewhere else. It went to your brain. The human brain is the most metabolically expensive organ in the known animal kingdom. It consumes roughly 20% of all the calories you eat, even though it makes up only 2% of your body weight. Running a brain this size is staggeringly costly, and Wrangham's hypothesis is that cooking is what made it possible. The energy freed from digestion went straight upstairs, the digestive tract shrank, the brain expanded. And the species that emerged from that trade looked, for the first time, recognizably like you. Now here's where the science gets genuinely complicated, because not everyone agrees on exactly what came first. Daniel Lieberman is an evolutionary biologist, also at Harvard. He has spent much of his career studying how the human body changed over time and why. And in 2016, he and his colleague Catherine Zink published a striking study in the journal Nature. They wanted to understand the mechanics of eating. Specifically, they wanted to know how much effort it actually takes to chew different foods and what happens when you process that food before eating it. So they did something beautifully strange. They had volunteers chew raw goat meat, and pounded root vegetables, and sliced meat, and cooked meat, and they measured every jaw movement, every unit of force, every chew. What they found was that raw meat is nearly impossible to eat with human teeth. You chew and the meat stays in one elastic, stubborn clump. Your molars are not designed to slice through muscle fiber the way a carnivore's teeth are. But the moment you slice the meat with a stone tool, everything changes. Slicing meat and pounding root vegetables before eating them reduced the number of chews needed by 17%. Over the course of a year, that adds up to 2.5 million fewer chews. 2.5 million. Lieberman and Zink argued that this mechanical processing, just simple stone tools, might have been enough to start the jaw shrinking process in Homo erectus even before cooking became widespread, that the combination of eating meat and slicing it with rocks might have kicked off the transformation before fire entered the picture in a major way. But here is the twist: cooking made everything even more efficient, because even sliced raw meat still requires far more chewing effort than cooked meat. Once fire came along, the savings multiplied again, and the fossil record shows the changes accelerating right at the moment fire appears to have entered the picture in a serious way. And about that fire, for years, archaeologists argued about when humans actually controlled fire. The oldest campfires we could identify with certainty were around 400,000 years ago. Then evidence from Wonderwerk Cave in South Africa pushed it back to around a million years. And now, in research published just recently in 2026, that same Wonderwerk Cave has yielded evidence of fire use dating back as far as 179 million years ago. Burnt bone fragments, heat-altered stone tools buried deep inside a cave where wind or water could not have carried them in naturally. Something brought that fire inside, and the most likely candidate was Homo erectus, your direct ancestor sitting in a cave tending a fire nearly 2 million years ago. This is not ancient campfire nostalgia. This is the moment that made you possible, because the body you have right now is a body built for cooked food. Your jaw is small because it no longer needs to grind raw roots for 6 hours. Your gut is short because heat already did half the work. Your brain is enormous because the energy that used to feed your digestive system now feeds something that can plan, imagine, remember, and wonder. You are the animal that outsourced digestion to fire and became in exchange the most cognitively complex creature that has ever walked this planet. And cooking changed more than anatomy. It changed society. Wrangham points out something easy to miss. Cooking takes time. It requires planning. You have to gather fuel, maintain a flame, prepare food before you can eat it. You cannot just eat as you walk anymore the way other primates do. Cooking created something entirely new: mealtimes. Fixed place where members of a group gathered together at the same time to share food. The hearth was not just a stove. It was the first living room, the first communal space, the first social institution. Cooking may have been what created the household as a concept, what created cooperation between males and females in ways that went beyond simple mating, what made it advantageous for groups to develop trust, to work together, to share. The fire that cooked the food became the fire that lit the first human communities. Look around you the next time you sit down to eat with another person. The table, the shared plates, the social ritual of it, the conversation that happens almost automatically when food appears, that is not modern culture. That is something your ancestors built around fire nearly 2 million years ago. It runs that deep, it is that old, and here is the part that should stop you cold. You did not choose to cook. You are not cooking because a recipe looks good or because you enjoy the process or because food tastes better warm, although it does. You are cooking because you are a species that cannot survive without it. Your body has been shaped by fire across almost 2 million years to the point where the raw, unprocessed world of your pre-human ancestors would now starve you. You are not an animal that learned to cook. You are an animal that cooking created. So tonight, when you light the stove or press the microwave button or watch a flame catch under a pot, know what you are actually doing. You are performing the oldest human ritual, the one that made everything else possible, the one that took a creature with a big jaw and a small brain, and turned it slowly and inexorably into something that could stand upright, look at a fire, and wonder what it means. Your brain is running on cooked food right now. That thought, the one you are having at this exact moment, was made possible by a flame someone lit nearly 2 million years ago. You are still cooking with that fire.